So I said I'd make a video about how I got here. Well, back when I was around 20, 21, I started, I don't know, I was drinking pretty heavily back then, probably around a 30 pack a day or so, me and my buddies. And then once I got engaged, I kind of cut it back, didn't quite drink as much. During my work life, I didn't drink so much every night. And that all went on until about 2018 when I got a severe back injury. Blew 2 discs in my back, have permanent nerve damage in my left leg. And I started, I got painkillers, Percocets. And my wife decided that she needed them more than me. So she started taking my painkillers and told me she needed them for work because she had to work. And I just needed to deal with it. So I dealt with it with alcohol. I started drinking and drinking. And I was drinking about a case a day of ice beer. And this went on for years. Good 6 years. 6, 7. And I tried to stop drinking here and there, and I just couldn't stop. And then it got to the point where every morning around 11 o'clock, if I hadn't had a beer, I'd start going into withdrawals. It would make me physically ill to the point where I couldn't even drink alcohol, and alcohol was what I needed to make me better. I would have to sip on a beer because my body would reject liquor immediately. But if I would sip on a beer for a little bit and get some alcohol in me, then my body would normalize, and then I could drink like normal. This went on for a while, and finally one night, I told my wife, I said, I'm going to check myself in the rehab tomorrow. I was like, I need to get over this alcohol. Well, lo and behold, that night I started puking blood. And I went to my wife, and after hours, I'm going to say hours of puking blood, probably 4 or 5. I went to my wife at least and said, hey, I need to go to the hospital. I'm puking blood. It's like, it's not stopping. I said, I need to get to the hospital. And she said, well, I'm sleeping. You need to call an ambulance. So I called an ambulance. And I'm puking blood all the way to the hospital. I had an iPhone. I still have one, but I didn't know that when you have emergency contacts, there's a feature on there that alerts people when you call 911. So I get to the hospital, and they're rushing me into emergency surgery, and my dad's there. And the doctor looks at me and says, you know, you destroyed your liver. He said, you need blood transfusions. He said, are you willing to take blood? And I said, yeah, I'll take blood. And he said, what about if your heart stops or you stop breathing? Do you want us to do everything you can to keep you alive? And I said, yeah, take full life-saving measures. So I go into emergency surgery, and I'm falling into a coma for 7 days. I'm on a ventilator. You've seen the picture. So during the time I'm in this coma, my wife doesn't show up for 4 days. Now, in the meantime, my sister flies in from Florida. She's there taking care of me. But my wife was nowhere to be found. Finally, when she heard I was starting to get better, then she came up to the hospital. I was at the hospital for, I think, a total of 11 or 12 days, and I went to rehab. Mind you, this whole time my wife had spent no more than 2 hours total, the whole 11, 12 days I was in the hospital up there. So So I go to rehab, and my medical problems are just so much that they can't handle them. And after 9 days, they send me home. I'm going to reverse a little bit here. When I woke up from my coma, I couldn't even walk on my own. They had 2 people walking with me with a walker, just so I could get back to walking like normal. I was really weak when I got to rehab. They just said over the 9 days that I was there, I made leaps and strides and leaps and about how I was walking and doing better with my balance and all that. So I go home, and I'm in and out of the hospital. At this point now where I'm at, this is April 22nd, I believe. And I've been in the hospital, or to the hospital, 28, 29 times at least. I just got released again day before yesterday. I was in because my ammonia levels were high. And I was suffering from hepatic encephalopathy. If you don't know what that is, that's where you start getting disoriented, have confusion. Like you can get lost on the way to your own house, basically. So I was in the hospital for a couple days there. They did some tests. I'm still waiting on the results on that. But I digress. One of my stints out of the hospital, I got home after staying, and the doctor had told me I needed to rest for a few days. That's why I was pushing it too hard. So I went home to rest, and I told my wife I was supposed to rest for a few days, and she woke me up 4 times that day. Then the next day she got me up and she told me I need to get out of the house and start doing some DoorDash or something, start making some money. So there was literally no support there or care about my health or well-being. It was all about money, get some money, or what she needed. So I decided to leave, and I did leave her, and now I live with my son in his apartment that he has for college. I have no income, no vehicle. All my vehicles are broke down. My son's the only one with a vehicle, and he has to have that to get to and from school and to and from work with his part-time job, because he's still in high school, to pay our utilities. I have food stamps and Medicaid, which is how I survive at the moment. That, and like I said, my son paying the utilities and the apartment that he has that my parents gave him for going to college, because he's going to go to college for HVAC. So that's where I'm at. That's what happened, how I got here. My next video, I'll explain how I'm kicking the alcohol and what's going on in my life.